Hey guys, I'm Rix here, and today I'm going back at you with another episode of Minifig Monday. So this time we're going to be looking at the Brickmania Modern Israeli Tanker, which of course is the minifigure that you can see in front of you. If you aren't familiar with Brickmania's tankers, their recent releases have included this 3D printed helmet, kind of updated from the minifig cat version that they used for a lot of their tankers previously. So that is a big update. But without any further ado, why don't we jump right into the figure? So I think that what first stands out to you is this nice olive base color, essentially, that they used, and then this kind of little bit of shifting on the legs that you see from Lando, almost to give it a little bit of depth and wear. So as you guys may or may not know, there's a big shortage of olive Lego parts. So I'm very thankful that that Brickmania decided to use the olive parts on this minifigure, because I think that that olive is very kind of representative of the IDF and of kind of what this uniform would actually look like. I know that in the past, when they have needed kind of this olive color for like a lot of their Vietnam figures, they've opted for color shifting, which, to be honest, I think doesn't look that great. So I'm pleased that they used this kind of olive base color, as far as I can tell, for this figure. But jumping into kind of the actual design, what you can see on the front are a bunch of pouches and what look like ammo pouches as well, along with kind of like a flak jacket, some various buttons on the figure, and then also some zippers. So I actually think that the zippers, if we zoom in a little bit closer, are kind of some of the nice details on these newer figures. I really like, kind of these zippers. I think they look great, and they add another layer of detail to the figure that you might not otherwise get. So those zippers are awesome, in my opinion. Something that I do think is a little bit weird is that Brickmania kind of seems in their new art style to not connect lines. And you might say, hey MW, what do you mean by not connecting lines? So if you look at the legs, you see the top of the boot has this black stripe here, and then you see the side of the boot also has this black stripe, but they don't connect across the edge. Now, normally what you see in artwork, let's see if I can get something that can compare. I don't know if I have a good comparison. So here's a TMC clone. What you can see is that in comparison, those lines on the top and on the side connect. So Brickmania used to connect these two lines, so I'm not entirely sure what their motivation was for not connecting it, other than essentially less mistakes with alignment. I think that's the only reason that you would remove kind of the connecting artwork, is that you want to make sure that you can print these faster and print more of them. And that's what you can do. There's less alignment issues if there aren't alignment issues that can possibly happen, right? See, if these artworks intentionally don't connect, then there's no reason for the people who are printing it to be worried about connection. So in my opinion, it's kind of a shortcut. It's a lazy shortcut, in my opinion. So I don't know whether I'm wholly on board with that, but that is what it is. That kind of seems to be where Brickmania is going, with unconnecting lines all across their artwork. That kind of just seems to be, the path that they chose. So, I'm kind of curious what you guys think. I don't really like that stuff like this, the artwork isn't connecting. I think that it takes away from the premium look of this minifigure. But I guess moving on from that, the back of the uniform is fairly standard. Of course, it has the Lando and Brickmania logo, and then it also has, the kind of continuation of his vest. So nothing very substantial on kind of the back of this figure. I don't think that there's anything really to go over. Beyond that, if you move up to the head, you remove the headpiece. It's just kind of like a very normal looking balaclava. I think that in the haul video for this figure, I pointed out that behind the eyes, there isn't a flesh tone, which I think is really weird, because I don't think that these guys wear ski masks. Like, I don't think that their masks would cover that part under the sunglasses. Maybe it does, but just from a cursory glance, I'm pretty sure that there should be flesh tones under there for the eye. But I think that really kind of the star of the show for this figure is this 3D printed helmet. I mean, you look at kind of these sides with those earmuffs and the attaching pieces, and you see where the detail and the care really went in. So I really think that where this figure starts to show kind of its prowess and its ability to really look awesome is in the 3D printed helmet, as you can see. I really think that that's the star of the show. As I've said, it's kind of the wow factor that you need for every minifig that you're going to release, kind of alone. And of course, it's very similar to all the rest of the 3D printed helmets, but I think that it really puts every figure that it's on, it kind of elevates it to that next level. And so I guess just for completionists, because I know some of you guys want to see the sides, here are the sides of the minifigures. Pretty standard boots, zipper, additional pouches on both sides, as you can see, if I can get the light to not reflect so harshly. But other than that, I don't think that there's a ton else to go over on this minifigure. I think that overall, I'm happy that they used all of parts. The 3D printed helmet is awesome. And overall, the general look of the uniform feels pretty accurate. I will say that the downsides are that I don't think the head is great. I think balaclava heads in general are not very awesome. They're not very useful, and I wish that they would stay away from them. And then also, I think that the artwork not connecting on these boots, as I mentioned, is a little bit odd. Now, I know that I've seen some people mention that they think that the zipper artwork is a little bit oversized. Like, if you think about if a minifigure was actually wearing a zipper, would it be this big? I don't think that's as big an issue for me, because I think that, you can have large zippers, you can have small zippers. So there's not really one standard size that you need to use for those. So I think that the size that Brickmania went with was fine. It allows Lando to show off some additional detail, which I think is pretty good. I do think that it's a little interesting or a little strange that, as you can see on these zippers here, clearly at both sides, there's a black end line, but then on the zippers on the boots, there's no black end line. I don't know why there isn't, but you can see on all the other zippers there are. So, maybe that was just a forgotten little end, but maybe not. Maybe that was intentional. I don't know. But other than that, I don't think there's a lot of things I want to point out. I think overall this is a pretty solid figure, especially because it's not color shifted. I think if it was color shifted, I wouldn't have bought it. You need to use these olive parts to really get that accurate look. Other than that, I know that I've said other than that like 30 times now. I think that I'm going to wrap up the video. So as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, do all the normal stuff, and I'll catch you next time.